Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
AI had the time of my life. AI never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.
You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry's the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/ACAST.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
I'm Toby.
And this is day 16 of 31 days of Halloween. I've got 4 spooky stories to share today. I'll get straight into them. Are you ready for the first story?
Yes, I am.
My mum used to hide under my bed at night. I was born in 2000. Grew up in a small town in northeast Ohio. We had one of those little ranch-style houses, all on one floor, 3 bedrooms. It was just me and my mum for most of my life. My dad left when I was a baby. She was a good mum, from what I remember. We didn't have much money, but she made sure I always had what I needed. She worked as a waitress at a restaurant in the centre of town. Always tired, but always kind. We'd watch movies together at night. She'd tuck me in, kiss my forehead, and tell me she loved me. I felt safe. Except at bedtime. I must have been about 6 or 7 the first time I noticed it. One night, after she tucked me in, I heard the floor creak after she turned off the light. Not out in the hall, right by my bed. I remember freezing, listening. Then I heard the sound of her breathing, slow, heavy, right underneath me. I leaned over the edge and whispered, "Mum?" She didn't answer, just this soft little giggle. Not mean, not playful, just weird. I called for her louder. After a few seconds, she crawled out from under the bed, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Smiled at me and said, "Go to sleep, sweetheart. Mum is here." Then she left the room. The next night, same thing. I heard her crawl under right after lights out. The soft thud of her knees and hands against the floorboards. The shift of the mattress as she settled in. Then the breathing. I was too little to really question it. I thought maybe it was just a game she liked to play. But the older I got, the more I realised it wasn't a game. It became a routine. She'd tuck me in like normal, turn off the light, and then she'd get under the bed every single night. And then she started doing little things. She would tap on the wood under my mattress in these odd rhythms. 3 taps, then 2, then 4. Sometimes it sounded almost like a song, other times like random patterns. If I moved or sat up, she'd stop until I laid back down. A couple of times, I caught her peeking out from the foot of the bed. I'd feel eyes on me and look down, and there she was. Her face just visible in the dark, one eye glinting in the faint light from the hall. No expression, just watching. I stopped sleeping well. I'd lie stiff under the covers, too afraid to move or call for her. If I tried to leave the bed, she'd grab my ankle. Not hard, just enough to stop me. Then she'd giggle again, that same soft, weird giggle. I never told anyone. How do you explain something like that when you're a kid? I figured no one would believe me. It wasn't every night that something scary happened. Some nights, she'd just lay there quietly. I'd hear her whispering to herself sometimes. Words I couldn't make out, soft and steady, like she was talking to someone I couldn't hear. This went on for years. During the day, she was totally normal. Made my lunch, helped with homework, joked with me, hugged me. I remember trying to work up the courage to ask her about it once when I was around 10. I said something dumb like, "Mum, why do you sleep under my bed?" She just blinked at me and smiled. "Oh, buddy, I don't do that. You must be having silly dreams." But that night, she was there again, and the tapping was louder. By the time I was 9 or 10, I stopped looking under the bed. I started sleeping on the couch when I could get away with it. Eventually, when I turned 11, she told me I was old enough to have a lock on my door. She never came back into my room. I don't know why she did it. I don't know what changed. She passed away when I was 23, cancer. In her last weeks, she was confused a lot of the time, drifting in and out. But one night, when I was sitting by her bed, she grabbed my wrist and said very clearly, "I kept you safe, you know. You were never alone at night." I still don't understand what she meant. This is a really creepy story.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was actually the mum hiding under the bed, or if it was something else and the mum was trying to keep the author safe, and that's when she put the lock on the door. It got me, this story, because it's so creepy.
Yeah.
How would you feel if I hid under your bed?
Oh, I'd say good job trying to get under there, mate.
Yeah, you have got loads of stuff under your bed.
I can't get under there.
Are you ready for the second story?
Yes, I am.
Looking for some answers. Hey, so I'm new here, but it seems this is the place for it. I apologise in advance. This might be a long one. I spent a lot of time hunting and fishing alone from my teenage years into my mid-20s. I'm no stranger to periods of isolation in the Appalachian Mountains, running through central Pennsylvania, or the woods of northern New York. However, there are certain times I'm overcome with feelings of anxiety, or just a flat-out feeling of, I shouldn't be here. This has almost exclusively happened in areas densely populated by hardwood trees, cedars, pine trees, spruces, etc. It's happened when scouting, fishing, and at times hunting with a very big loaded firearm. It's not the same feeling you get when walking back to your truck after dusk with just a bow, because New York hasn't approved your pistol permit yet. I can only describe it as a primal feeling of where I'm going isn't a good idea and I need to leave. I've been stationed at Light Infantry Unit for the last 6 years as an 11 Bravo. If you're unfamiliar, Light Infantrymen, me, are allotted opportunities for courses and field training in areas such as cold weather survival, land navigation, fieldcraft, heavy cross-country packing, rucking, mountaineering, and other forms of wilderness survival. All things required to be effective in a field environment. This means a lot of time in the woods, and some of that time is alone. Never once have I had these intense sensations, as previously described, while training in a professional capacity. I'm not scared of the woods. I'm well aware of what can happen to a person if they are careless to their environment. I like to think I know what I'm doing, and I know what to do to keep myself in all right shape. I say all of that to say this. Last Monday, I was backed out of a patch of pine trees, all the way back to my truck, by a feeling of intense dread and anxiety. I genuinely felt in that moment as if I was not supposed to be there, and if I continued forward, it would have been some sort of bad news. This is a spot I've hunted before. The first time, I met that same patch of trees with unease when passing through, but this time was too intense. I'm a religious individual, and to me, it felt like intense evil was keeping an eye on me as I walked through its front yard. When this happens, it is consistently patches of tall, hardwood trees that do this to me. I like to think of myself as not beaten by a particular species of native trees to the northeast, but unfortunately, it has become a pattern of occurrence I can no longer ignore. Is there something wrong with me? Why is it the trees? Is it my mind warning me to things I just can't understand at that particular moment? Any sort of input is welcome. I'm going back out in a couple of hours to sit for turkey. If anything else happens, I suppose I'll update. P.S. It's directional. At times, I'm able to pinpoint a particular direction that I feel is producing these sensations. Never an exact spot, but a cardinal direction. What's going on with the pine trees?
Yeah, I don't want to stick around all day.
No, I wonder what it is. What's making the person feel so uncomfortable? I'm a bit stumped on this. I really don't know. I think it needs more research into folklore creatures, but I just didn't have time to do it.
Yeah, when you get that feeling something's wrong, just got to leave in it.
You have, and you have got to act on your instincts, because that fear is there.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
Yeah, like a predator's nearby or something.
Yeah.
Spooky. Are you ready for the third story?
Yes, I am.
The Tsunami Ghost. This was a story that I heard from a family when I went to Thailand to visit them last year. For context, my mum, along with my stepdad and stepbrother, moved to Phuket in 2018, and they first settled in an area near Kamala, where the tragic 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami took many lives of locals and tourists. The story goes that my stepdad and stepbrother were on a business trip in China and had left for a month. My mum fell sick before they came back, and since Phuket is hot, she likes to leave the windows open with the curtains blowing with the breeze in her apartment, which was a few floors high and had a view of the beach. One night, while she was sick, it was around 2 a.m. in the morning, and she felt a presence behind her while she was sleeping. And then she felt a tall male with Western cologne on, and he slowly got on the bed with his knees first, hugging her from behind, while changing from a kneeling position to laying down. She told me that she remembered feeling that this man was dripping in seawater and had hairy arms and chest. She was too scared to move. I told her that she must have been dreaming, since I didn't believe in ghosts. But she told me that she woke up the next morning with the other side of the bed all wet, and the cologne smell was still around. What spooked me the most was that when my stepdad and brother came back, my little stepbrother, who was 3 and barely knew a few words back then, pointed at a corner of the wall and said, "Mama, there's a ghost." I thought she was joking, but when I looked at my stepdad, he said it was true with a scared face. They have since moved after that and never experienced anything like that again. But Mum has had a few experiences with the paranormal. When my grandma passed away from cancer, she was traumatised and slept on the pillow my grandma used. And she would frequently twitch like someone possessed her, and her eyes would roll back, and then lose all the energy after. It wasn't until we burned the pillow that she returned to normal. I remember myself that I slept for 24 hours after seeing her getting cremated, and I was 7 at the time. She also told me that my grandma has seen weird things, like an elderly woman suddenly crawling up a wall with bare hands. I'm not usually one who believes in it, but my mum clearly thinks otherwise. When I was in Thailand, I also heard knocking in the closet at night around 1 a.m, and I didn't think much of it. And it only happened on one night at her current residence. And when I told them, they told me not to joke and it might be a termite. So I just told myself that's what it was. What do you all think about this spooky stuff? This is quite creepy and interesting because, I know about all the other tsunami ghosts that people have spoken about and we've done an episode on, but it was interesting to have a first-hand encounter, even though it's second-hand. But you know what I mean, because it's very different to the other stories that we've told and I've heard.
Yeah.
I do think that if something really traumatic happens, it does leave that energy behind. So, it wouldn't surprise me at all if there are many ghosts hanging about. Are you ready for the fourth and final story?
Yes, I am.
Something about this guy in my apartment building doesn't feel right. Not really sure where to post this, but whatever, just need to get it off my chest. I live in a pretty average apartment complex. Nothing fancy, 3 floors, kind of quiet. I've been here for little over a year now, and most people keep to themselves. Say hi in the hall, take out the trash, that's it. A few weeks ago, this new guy moved into the unit across from mine. Early 30s maybe. Thin, buzz cut, always wearing the same grey hoodie. Even when it was hot out. Didn't really think much of him at first. People come and go here. He leaves his door open sometimes. Not like open, but cracked. Just enough to see the light on inside. Never any noise, no TV, no talking. I'd never seen anyone go in or out except him. One time, I was taking the trash out around 1 a.m. and he was just standing in the hallway. Not doing anything, no phone, just standing by his door, staring at the floor like he was waiting for something. I said hey, and he didn't even flinch, just kept standing there like I wasn't there. I walked past him and felt my skin crawl, like when you know someone's watching you. Fast forward to last night. I woke up around 3 a.m. because I heard this soft knocking. Not loud, just a few taps, spaced out. I thought it was my door, but when I looked through the peephole, no one was there. I stood there for a second, and right as I started to turn away, I heard it again. This time, it sounded like it was coming from inside the hallway. Just slow, spaced out knocks, like someone testing how quiet they could be. I opened the door and looked out. Nothing. But his door was open again, a little wider than usual. I couldn't see anything inside, just darkness. I didn't go any closer, closed my door, locked everything, sat in my living room with the lights on, like a dumbass, for an hour before going back to bed. He didn't leave his apartment at all today. I know, because I stayed home from work just to see. No movement, no sound, just the door, shut tight now. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but something about him feels wrong. Like he's pretending to be normal, but doesn't actually know how. I don't know. Should I say something to management? Cops? Feels dumb. I've got this feeling in my chest that won't go away.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/ACAST today.
Now, I did think that this guy could be on the spectrum, and that's why he appears to be acting strangely to this person. But I also think, going back to that primal fear reaction, that you've kind of got to go with your gut as well. Because I think that you'd probably notice, maybe not, but if somebody was on the spectrum, like we were at the woods today and we lost Luna for like an hour, and this guy was in there and I didn't realise he had a dog. So I let Luna off the lead and she just went. And I was running up this hill and I can't run that fast. chasing her and calling out, but this guy was kind of completely ignoring me and walked off for miles with my dog. Now, my fault, but instantly I thought, I think he's on the spectrum, because he kind of completely ignored me and walked off with my dog and his dog. And another dog walker said, yeah, I've seen him up at the golf course, just kind of walking in the middle of the golf course where there are like designated walking routes. I said, yeah, I think he might be on the spectrum and he's not really realised that my dog needs to come back with me. And we eventually got her back, but I would say that he was, without diagnosing people, because one of the boys got her back and he was just like, oh yeah, your dog's here. Whilst I was crying through the woods, praying to bring my dog back. Toby got his rosary out, didn't you, love?
Yeah, man. That's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.